Yo, this is Aline from MasterYourWeb. You're watching HTML tutorial for absolute beginners, and this video is going to be the first one out of two about tables. So let's begin. Alright, so the structure is going to be as following. So in this video, which is going to be the first one related to the tables, I will guide you through the basic concepts of creating tables in HTML so that you will be able to comfortably start using them. And on the second video about tables, we will dive into a bit more advanced topics when it comes to them, but rest assured, I guarantee that if you follow the videos, you will be able to easily learn them as well. So as usually, we will have a mix between theoretical and also practical stuff, so that you will get the most out of that learning process. Alrighty, enough with the introduction, let's get our hands dirty with the tables. So basically tables are really useful when it comes to website. They provide a really nice way to display the data and therefore are widely used. And let's actually build our first website in HTML. And for that we will consider the following scenario. Let's say that we would like to buy a new phone and we want to compare the prices. And for instance, we have like a lower budget phone, which is for instance a Huawei, which is going to be around $300. Then we will have like a medium budget phone, which is going to be for instance a Samsung of $500. And then we have like an Apple, which is going to cost like $1,000. So we would like to display those information in a table. And for that we'll open our project. And we'll start creating our table. So basically the first tag that we need to write is going to be the table tag. That is going to tell the HTML that we would like to create a table. Alright, so that's basically necessary whenever we want to create a new table. After creating the table tag, we need to create another tag called thehead. And that one comes from table head. And inside of table head, we will create another tag called th from table head element. So basically over here we will have three th, one for Huawei, one for Samsung, and one for Apple. And all of those are being basically grouped in this tag called thehead, which basically groups all of the elements in the table head. Alright, so over here we will write Huawei, then we have Samsung, and then we have an Apple. Okay, the next tag is gonna be the body tag. This one more or less is gonna group the elements in the table body. Alright, so for that, as opposed to the th, which came from table head element, we have a td coming from table data. But before, I forgot something. Basically, whenever we create a new row into our table, we basically need to create a tag called tr coming from table row, and we will add those elements into our table row tag. So basically we have the thead tag, which basically will group the elements, and then we have the tr, which basically creates like our first row of the table, and then we create like a table body, and inside of it we will create the second row of the table, in which we will add a td, and inside of it we will write the price of the Huawei. Let's just delete that. Alright, so basically over here we will have the price for the Huawei. Next, we need to create another td so that we display the price for the Samsung, which is going to be 500. And last but not least, we need to create another td which will display the price of the Apple. Alright, so that's basically the structure of the table. Let's actually minimize this and open the browser. Alright, so you can see that we have the Huawei, which is basically this one, with its corresponding price of 300. Alright, and then we have the Samsung, this guy over here with corresponding price of 500. And last but not least, we have the Apple with its corresponding price of 1000. Alright, So that's basically the most simple way in which we can create a table. If we would like to create like a new row, for instance, let's pretend that the prices went down like 50%, alright? And in the next row, we would like to basically display the price with that price reduction. And for that, we'll create a new row, and inside of it, we'll start creating TD, okay? So it's gonna be like 150, right? Because it's gonna be like 300 split in two. In our next row, we will have like 250, and last but not least, we'll have 500. Okay, let's try to save it and look into the browser, and boom, we've basically created a new row of the table, and so on and so forth. We basically can create as many rows as we would like our table to have. So yeah, to recap, basically when we want to create a table, we need to have like the table tag, which is basically responsible for actually creating that table. Then we need to create the t-head, which is responsible for wrapping all of the heading elements of the table. And then we basically need to create a row, which is usually going to be the first row of the table, and inside that row we would basically have our th, right, coming from table head. The reason of using th instead of td is basically the fact that you can see that the formatting of the th is a bit different since they are bolded, okay? So that's basically the default formatting for the th. Then we open the t-body tag, and over here we basically create as many rows as we would like. And basically inside the tr tag for the table rows, we basically need to create the same number of cells as we have over here into the header, okay? So that's basically it. That's the bare minimum example of creating a table. And right now it's gonna be time for our exercise. Alright, when it comes to our exercise, we have created like a list of students and basically the grades that they have on math, English and science, and it's basically from 1 to 10. So we basically have Bob, Mary and Earl, alright? And that is gonna be our exercise to basically to replicate this table using HTML tables, alright? So let's begin. We'll see you in about 15 seconds. Alright, 15 seconds have passed, so let's actually get to work. I will just delete this table and I'll create like a new table. Alright, to start from scratch. And I will start with the table head, okay? I will create a new row, and inside that row I will create our TDs. So the first one is gonna be the student name, alright? And then we have a few TDs. So for instance, we have the maths, and then we have the English, and last but not least we have the science. Let's actually save our changes and see what we've done. Great. One problem over here is the fact that I've put TDs instead of THs. So basically you can see that those are behaving like regular columns, and they shouldn't. They are basically supposed to be headings. So let's actually try to change it from TD to TH so that they'll look as they should. Okay, let's try to save it now. Great, a lot better. Alright, so we've basically created our table head, and next we'll create our table body. So for that I will create a table row, alright, and start to add elements in it. So the first section, basically the first row, is gonna be for Bob, alright, and inside this first cell we'll write Bob's name, and then we will have the grade that Bob has at maths, which is 7. Then we have the grade that Bob has at English, which is 8. And last but not least, Bob has a 10 at science. Alright, so that's our first row. Let's actually see what we've done. Alright, so we have Bob with 7, 8 and 10. Great. Let's actually do the same for Mary. So we have a TR, and then we have a TD, and we'll write Mary. Alright, let's actually see Mary. Great. And next we have Earl, which of course is not the brightest one in his class, but still. So we have Earl, and we have a 5, then we have a 4, and then we have a 2. Alright, let's actually save it, and boom, here's our table. Great. So that was all for this video. On the next video we'll cover part 2 of tables, and in that video we'll discuss about col span, row span, basically what they are, how they are useful to us, and also we will have 2 more exercises in that video. So please make sure to check that also, because it's gonna be really nice information. We'll see you then. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the content and if you consider that it's at least 1% relevant, then please leave a like, a share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you on the next one.